We love to celebrate those big thinkers, the visionaries, the people who dream up incredible things and literally change the world. But what if that same powerful vision, the very thing that fuels all that success, could also lead to complete and utter ruin? That's the dangerous paradox we're going to explore. Look, you've probably been told your whole life that having a vision is the secret to success, but is that really the whole picture? Today, we're looking at two huge figures from history who had world-changing visions, but their lives ended in absolute tragedy. It really makes you ask a critical question. What's the difference between a vision that builds a life and one that destroys it? So our first story takes us back to the 1930s in America. I mean, think about it. Aviation was this brand new, exciting frontier. Hollywood was all glitz and glamour, and there was one man who wanted to conquer it all, Howard Hughes. So check this out. This table really gets to the heart of what drove him. His vision was simple: be the best at everything. His values? Well, they were all about the extremes. The latest, the biggest, the fastest, the richest. And his mission was basically to make that vision his reality. For Hughes, there was no gray area. Ambition was his entire world. And man, for a while there, it looked like his vision was absolutely unstoppable. He produced a Hollywood blockbuster when he was just 25. He designed his own plane and then flew it to a world speed record. He flew around the entire globe in just 3 days. He owned a major airline, pioneered flights to Europe, and yeah, he became one of the richest men on the planet. He did everything he said he was going to do. But here's where the story takes a really dark turn. The reality behind that dazzling vision, it was a total nightmare. He was crippled by a terrifying fear of germs and severe OCD. After a plane crash, he got hooked on painkillers. This billionaire, this titan of industry, spent his last years hiding away in a hotel room, a complete recluse. He died weighing only 45 kilos, his body just wrecked, with broken needles still in his arm. His grand vision built him an empire, but it completely hollowed out and destroyed the man inside. Okay, so that's one story. Now let's switch gears completely. What happens when this same kind of paradox plays out not with money and planes, but in the world of pure ideas? For our second example, we're jumping over to 19th century Germany to meet one of the most influential and controversial philosophers ever, Friedrich Nietzsche. See, Nietzsche wasn't chasing wealth or fame. His vision was way bigger, way more radical. He was going after the soul of humanity itself. He is the one who famously declared, "God is dead." And he imagined a future where human beings could throw off old morality and become what he called the Übermensch, or Superman, the absolute master of his own fate. His mission was to tear everything down so that this new human could rise up. And just like Hughes, his achievements were, well, they were off the charts. He was a full university professor at 25. He wrote 24 books that would literally go on to define and challenge philosophy for the next 100 years. His ideas were so powerful they created whole new ways of thinking, like postmodernism. The man was an undeniable genius. And you can probably see the pattern here, just like with Hughes, his personal life was an absolute tragedy. He suffered from horrible health problems his entire life. Then, at just 44, his mind completely broke. He spent his last decade lost in dementia. The man who dreamed of the powerful Superman died a frail, miserable human. And maybe the worst part? His ideas were later twisted and used by dictators like Hitler to justify unspeakable horrors. Okay, so let's pause for a second. We've got two brilliant men with these massive visions. One conquered the material world, the other the intellectual world. And they both end up completely shattered. What gives? What was the fatal flaw that led them both down the same dark path? Well, according to the source material we're looking at today, the answer isn't about how big their vision was, but where it came from. The core argument here is that every vision has an origin point. And it makes a really sharp distinction between a vision that comes from God and one that's born from what it calls human and satanic pride. This slide just lays it out so clearly. You've got Hughes on one side, chasing total earthly power, and Nietzsche on the other, chasing intellectual power, basically wanting man to become his own god. They were in completely different arenas, but our source points to the exact same flaw. Their vision was built on their own ambition, their own pride. It wasn't founded on God. And this quote from our source, wow, it just hits the nail on the head. It says that because the source of their vision was, in its own words, human and satanic, even when they achieved everything they wanted, it didn't bring fulfillment. Instead, it just created this deep, profound emptiness, not just for them, but for the people around them too. So, as we start to wrap this up, what's the big lesson we can pull from these two, frankly, heartbreaking stories? It all seems to come back to this one central idea: the source of your vision. It really boils down to this. A vision can help you do incredible things. It can build an empire, it can rewrite philosophy, it can absolutely change the world. But if that vision is incomplete, if its source is only human ambition, it can leave the person behind it completely broken. It might build a kingdom, but it can't make a person whole. And that really leaves us with one final big question, a question for you. We all have a vision for our lives. We all have ambitions. And that vision is a powerful force, no doubt about it. But it's worth taking a moment to ask, where is it really coming from?